My testimony is not a testimony that is full of amazing stories or anything of that nature. Rather, it's a testimony that simply shows how God has changed my life and continues to mold me to be who He has called me to be. I didn't truly understand the gospel and who Jesus was until 8th grade. It was during that year that I began to grow more comfortable with the youth group. I began going out to the activities and I started to make more friends. I really began to love the church and everything about it. However, this love was not for Christ, but it was instead for the friends and fun that church brought. That year, the summer retreat was when I really began to turn my life around. Our guest speaker for that retreat was a pastor from Brooklyn, and his name was Sam, and I don't really remember his last name. I thought he was pretty weird at first because he had an intriguing Korean accent and always seemed to be yelling during his sermons. And it wasn't until the last night of the retreat when Christ truly changed my life. Many of you here know that I don't have the greatest relationship with my sister. We would constantly fight in the past and bicker over the smallest things, and I don't even recall having an actual decent conversation with her growing up. So on the last night of the retreat, I remember seeing everyone around me crying and praying, and I remember thinking to myself, how do I pray? Why are people crying? Should I be crying too? And as I was thinking this, my sister came up to me, and she started praying for me. I don't exactly recall what she said, but I remember her saying this: God, I really love my brother, and even if we fight a lot at times, please help me to love him more and to care for him. When I heard those words, I just began to cry, and this was when I realized that God truly is good, and He truly is real and constantly working inside each and every one of us here. I just want to say a few words to my fellow youth group now. It's going to be extremely difficult for me to leave the youth group. The youth has and always will have a place in my heart. You guys have been there for me in my darkest times, and I am proud to call each and every one of you my brothers and sisters. I really don't know where I'd be if I have not met all of you guys. I just want to share with you guys one of my favorite verses that has truly changed my life. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." To my youth, never ever be discouraged by your age. God can and will do great things with you if you place your trust in Him. Be bold in your faith. Trust in His goodness. Love your enemies and your neighbor, and take the initiative and do all things to glorify Him. And to my fellow seniors, it's crazy how we'll all be going our separate ways in a couple of months. As we all go off to college, I just want to say 3 quick things to you guys. Number 1, own your faith. We will all be entering a new world when we go to college. We're going to encounter so many new challenges and obstacles. But as we go through these challenges, place your trust in God. Trust in the one who knows you best, and trust that He will lead you in the right direction. Number 2, own your relationships. The Christian faith is lived out in community. So where you go, find a good church, and a place where you can worship, where you can learn, where you can grow, and where you can serve. And number 3, own your decisions. The next few years for us will be full of important life-changing decisions. Pray to God before you make these decisions. Seek counsel from trustworthy people who are strong in faith, and make the best decisions that you can. Learn to accept the consequences. Learn from your mistakes, and trust God to shower you with mercy and goodness. I just want to thank Pastor Paul and Pastor Jacob. Pastor Paul has challenged me in my faith at a very young age. He was the one who pushed me to take my faith seriously, and he was the one who set the foundation for my growth. Pastor Jacob taught me how to truly live out my faith. It was through his teachings and his guidance that I was truly able to learn what the gospel really means. I'm also thankful that Pastor Jacob is not just a pastor figure in my life, but he's also a very good friend. He has been there for me in my dark times and always gave me heartfelt advice when I needed it. And lastly, I just want to thank my parents. You guys have truly been the rocks and foundations in my life. I'm so thankful that God has blessed me with parents like you guys. You constantly put up with my laziness, my rebelliousness, my grumpiness, and the list just goes on and on. Yet throughout all of that, you guys continue to pour out love to me, and I'm thankful for all the little things that you guys constantly do for me, even if I rarely show it. But above all else, I'm thankful that you guys continually push me to grow in my faith, and you guys are really the best example of Christ-like parents in my life, and I love you guys. So I just want to end with one more thing. To my youth group students, we've all done this several times, but do me a favor and just make this one the loudest. God is good? All the time? God is good! Thank you.